Hello, my podcast people, and thank you for joining me for yet another episode of my favorite online business podcast. If you are tuning in, listening, watching on the day that it drops, it is Monday, January 12th, and the year is already flying by. Like, January 12th. That's aggressive. Let me turn this mic up, actually, make sure we're up. Today we're talking about how I'm taking my Mafia in a new direction. Side note, this is why I love having a podcast and why I encourage folks to have a podcast if they have an online business, because you can use it in any way that you want, including promoting your own stuff, which I highly recommend doing. So main topic today, how I'm taking the Mafia in a new direction, what that direction is. But first, a quick life recap, because the whole episode is going to be about business. So the life recap is that if you're watching, cleaning my glasses, they're like so dirty. I don't even know how they get dirty. Like I'm not touching them. I'm not sitting here with like my hands on my face and they get so dirty. But life recap. My birthday was great. I will die on the hill that January 1st is the best birthday. Because you're constantly surrounded by love. You're surrounded by your people. It's the best way to start off the new year. It is borderline overwhelming. I'm not going to lie. And it's such a champagne problem. And I'm so grateful for this problem. Because I have a problem. I'm just grateful for this experience. It is borderline overwhelming how much love I receive and the texts and the DMs. Because like people are online and like January 1st. And like, it's just like, it's a lot. It is a lot. And it's fucking amazing. And I look forward to it every year. And I'm overwhelmed by it every year. And it's the best. And I don't like force myself to respond and be like, I can respond in 5 seconds. I do batch it. I go and do it from the computer because it's a lot. And if you reached out to me or you left a message or did a post, anything, like, thank you. It is my favorite day and I just feel so loved. Lex, chick loves me so much and I love her obviously so much, but she just like showers with me with love all the time. But on my birthday, she got me a DJ controller. She likes doing gifts and like giving gifts. I don't really like receiving gifts. Like it's fine, but like look at me. Look at all this shit that I have here. Like I'm 41 years old now. I got a lot of stuff. But I think she kind of prides herself on trying to figure out something that like I will like, because I am so specific and particular, and also like I have so much stuff. But she got me a DJ controller. And she got me some speakers and the software, and that is going to be my next hobby. I kind of thought that I would wait till I was like 45 and maybe had a little more free time, because right now I'm like, any free time I have, I'm coding. I'm trying to learn about coding, but let the midlife DJ crisis begin. I haven't played around with it yet. The speakers are not here, but super thoughtful gift, super dope gift. She got me this book as well that's like really cool. These puzzles I like doing. She made my favorite meal. She made beef bourguignon. I love beef bourguignon. She got me a cake from Susie Cakes. It was great. And then the day itself was just great. It was gray as well. It was a gray day. But it did clear up, but like it was wet and I was doing stuff I love. So I didn't even go to the beach. I mean, I love being at the beach, but like it was kind of wet. So I was like, I don't need to go there. From the first thing in the morning, I was up and I was doing some coding, and then I built a bunch of shelves, and so I didn't go to the beach, but I went to the beach like 2 days later, so it was fine. But it was just a really great day, and if you were a part of it in any way, shape, or form, thank you. It's my favorite day of the year, and it was awesome. But the segue here, having a birthday on January 1st, means that shortly after that, it is back to the land of responsibilities and deadlines and all that jazz. It makes me kind of sad, which is why we're talking about a new direction for the Mafia. For those of you that don't know, the Mafia is my monthly membership that I've run since 2020. I started it right before COVID started in January, and I created it because I saw the need for an online resource that combined movement and online business and allowed dope conversations to happen in the online space. I had been teaching a lot in person, and I saw these amazing conversations that happen when people are in the same room, and I was like, let's make it happen online, because people can't always be in the same room, right? I was traveling the country, traveling the world, and I was like, let's make it happen. People were really just starting to move into the online space. Like, I know it sounds weird saying that, but like, things were different before COVID. No, not everyone was online in that same kind of capacity pre-COVID, and then pre-COVID brought everyone online. So I launched it in January 2020, and then very shortly after COVID hit, and we got through it together. Right? It was kind of serendipitous timing, and it allowed me to provide a resource for folks to teach them how to go online, run your business online. I actually, from the other side of it, getting through it together, I brought my friend in who worked at the CDC, and like I was like, hey, this is early on, and here's what they know, and it allowed people to be connected and stay connected and be connected, during that time. And that was 6 years ago. All right. And we have been super consistent. I've had some folks that are still in there. We've had a lot of folks that graduate as well. But the core of the Mafia, it's been there largely since day one, which means it's time to evolve, right? That was 6 years ago. The main change that we made during those 6 years was that we went from dinners twice a month to dinners once a month because it just made sense. But I did add a brick and mortar meetup that I don't run. Our girl Sabrina runs that. And so there are technically two, live calls during the month. And actually, it kind of explodes my heart. One of the people, one of the mafiosos last week at our dinner, she was just like, I've been in this since the beginning, and I was like a lurker. And she says lurker, but she's contributing. But she kind of went through different iterations of her business, and now has a brick and mortar business. And she just signed a 5-year lease, and she's doing so well. And she's like, I've been in the Mafia for so long, and you hear people say like you have to just keep going, and part of you wonders like, when's it my turn? When's it gonna work? And she's like, I just kept going, and now it's my turn, and it's working. And it was just like so fucking cool to hear. And, it's a testament. It's been 6 years, right? These things take time. But to that end, people being in it for 6 years and this thing existing for 6 years means that it's time to evolve. Mainly because when you have folks that are in it that long, like they've learned the things and now they're implementing. They've been in that long, right? They've learned the things, they're implementing the things. And now it's largely about support and answering questions that may come up, but largely being like, yep, here we go. Keep going, keep doing the things. And in reality, the Mafia has always kind of served as that kind of support space, right? It taught business stuff, online business stuff, absolutely. But I didn't ever push people to join the Mafia so that they could learn about online business. I encouraged them to join if they wanted community. Right. So I'd finish the intensive and people would be like, what's next? And I'm like, well, if you want to hang out with people, come to the Mafia. But it wasn't like, hey, if you want to learn online business, come to the Mafia. So the new direction, the new direction. If you're watching, you can see the air quotes I did. The new direction for the Mafia isn't so much of a new direction as it is identifying and doubling down on what's always, in my opinion, set the Mafia apart and what's made it truly helpful. Right? That doubling down looks like as follows. If someone wants to be like, what is the Mafia? I would say to them, the Maestro Mafia is a monthly mentorship space where people who are building online businesses come to talk through strategy, decisions, and the realities of this type of work with others who actually get it. All right, that's a big thing. Like, do people get it? Are you surrounded by people, your family and your friends? They don't get it. That is a big thing. The heartbeat of the Mafia is the monthly family dinner, which follows what I'm calling a teach and talk format. That's going to pair practical strategy, that's the teach part, with guided conversation that examines the beliefs, the fears, and the real life constraints that shape how folks show up or avoid showing up in their businesses. Alongside the conversations, right, because it is tactical as well, like alongside the conversations, all members, they have access to a growing library of resources and what I have named the Maestro Mafia core curriculum. And that covers the foundational pieces of online business. Any question that you could have about online business, it's answered within that library. All right, that content, it's self-paced. It's designed to support people thinking. It's not like to dictate a path. It is still very much choose your own adventure in that regard. This space is for folks who are already doing the work and who are looking for a consistent place to talk through things, to get strategic perspective. Right? That's a big thing there, the strategic perspective. It's not just, talk about anything and share all your feelings. It is, hey, you're going to get feedback that's based in experience, that's based on expertise. And one of the coolest things is it's not just me that's teaching and talking about these things, right? And giving you answers and giving you advice. I will lead the first part, but in all these conversations, and this is how it's always been, we have such a breadth of experience and knowledge. And people, I don't have kids. I don't have any kids. But a lot of people in the Mafia do. And so it's been amazing to watch these conversations happen between folks who are thinking about having kids and being like, how do I set myself up for going on maternity leave or paternity leave? What does that look like? How do I have a new baby, I have a young kid. How do I allocate more time? And then we have parents on the other side that have young kids. We have parents that have, significantly older kids, and they can share their experience and their expertise. And it's just like, That's fucking amazing. And that's the real stuff, in my opinion, that helps people with their businesses, right? It's real life stuff. Right, so if that sounds interesting, baby, we would love to have you, right? If you're looking for a place that you can have the conversations and not carry it all alone, in your head. Mafia, right? Like I said, this new direction is really, it's not so new. It's more of a niche down, right? It's doubling down on what has allowed the Mafia to endure, right? The dinners and the conversations at those dinners, that's the heartbeat, and it has always been the heartbeat of the Mafia. And now I'm looking to attract folks who value that and who need that, right? The Mafia is not a fucking talking circle. And it's like when I was like planning this out and getting language, I'm like in my mind seeing like, passing the like talking stick. And I'm like, it's not like that. Now, there's anything wrong with that, but like that's not what it is. Right? I want to be clear about that. And I went back and forth a bunch. Also, I had chat help me out with this. And I went back and forth a bunch, ironing out the language and like what I was really trying to convey, right? It's not a kumbaya, come and word vomit your feelings. I am way too much of a Capricorn for that. Right? The dinners are anchored in two ways. One, I start by teaching strategy and tactics. And then number two, the discussion is guided by a single question that I share at the beginning of the month. And it ties into that topic. And it looks to get to help folks understand why they're doing what they're doing and start exploring that. So an example. So if we're for the month that we'd cover messaging, an example would be I would teach what to change first and what to leave alone when refining your messaging. And then the talk part would be based on the question, what are you still saying that no longer feels true? And so that allows people to be like, hey, this is why I haven't changed it, or this is what I would really love to say, or like, this is what I want to grow into, or I've just always said it this way. And like really have conversations around that and identify that, and then go forward with marching orders. Right? I'm excited about this shit. This new direction, it's because I want to help people do the thing. I always wanted to help. That's always my whole shtick, right? I want people to take action. And so when the Mafia first started, and there were a lot of folks who were new to online business and the online space, helping them do the thing really looked like being super tactical and technical and providing a lot of that didactic information, holding hands. 6 years later, that's not as much the case, right? And for the folks who I want to attract for the Mafia, that's not as much the case, right? They don't need this super tactical, provide a lot of information. Like, yeah, we still have that. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it fucking twisted. We still got it. Mafia still got it. But what I want to be sharing and how I want to be helping people and showing up for people and facilitating for people are these conversations, right? The conversations that I don't see taking place anywhere else, but that I know people benefit from, right? Again, don't get me wrong, the tactical stuff is still super valuable and I will teach it. And the Mafia has that huge ass library of resources for anything that you could want to learn about online business through my lens and how I teach things. And we have guest speakers that have come in and all those dinners are recorded and they're all in there. But what folks, in my opinion, who are in the thick of it and they've been doing is what they need. They need other folks who are in the thick of it and they need a place to speak honestly. The net effect of having those two things, I've seen it firsthand. It reduces isolation. It externalizes, this stuck thinking. It gives people language to things that they're carrying around in their head. And it helps people hear themselves think. Right? There's so much value to putting this out into the ether. It is incredibly, incredibly powerful. Whether you're saying this is what I want to do, or this is why I think I'm doing it, or am I the only person doing it this way, or I feel like this, there is so much power in that. And oftentimes people keep it in their head because they got no one to say it to. Come to the Mafia. All right, like I said, this is actually not new to the Mafia. And the best example that I can give is that we run Love Seats. I run Love Seats every so often, which is a 5-minute coaching spot. Usually ends up being like 10, but either way, call it a 5-minute coaching spot. And the person comes and they ask their question and they get coached up by me and the rest of the family. Quite a few years back, this is probably like 4 years ago, we had a member, Abby, who took a seat and she shared, and she wound up like not even asking a question. And she ended the Love Seat basically by being like, I don't really think I have a question. I think I'm just scared. Right? And that shit's real. And to this day, we'll have folks that do Love Seats and I'm like, you're pulling an Abby. Right? They're just scared, or they're just like, oh, hit the bowl. They're scared. They're nervous about something. They just need to get it out. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's so much value in having a space that allows you to do that. Right? Business decisions can be scary. Business growth can be, wow. I'm excited. I can't speak. Business growth can be scary. Business changes can be scary. Running a business can be tough. Being in this entrepreneurial space is tough. right? The conversations that address this, that identify these things, that let people speak to this and these feelings, those are the conversations in the mafia that have helped people the most. And that is what I want to double down on for 2026. So again, no, it's not a feelings circle. If there's anything wrong with that, if that's your thing, go ahead, do it. But that's not what we're doing at the mafia, right? I am way too Capricorn, type 5 Enneagram for that. But I do know that the conversations, like this is an aside. In addition, I also know that there are conversations that I have with my one-on-one clients that are not in the mafia, and very real feelings come up. Oftentimes it's with men. I have a few male clients, and they speak about the financial stress and the responsibility and these feelings that come along with this. And I'm like, yo, I'm here to talk about it, but like, it is important to have other people that are like you, that have shared values, shared experiences, that have this shared understanding to talk to about this. And that is why I have the mafia. That is my solution for this. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, check out the registration page and check out the mafia. Right, the doors are closed outside of this January registration period, which largely just means that you have to hit me up for an invite. There's the information page is always available, but the registration page it gets locked down after this little like January time period, and then you have to just reach out to me, mainly because I want to vet people, right? But for the rest of this week, you can just go to the registration page and join. We have it linked in the show notes. It's linked below. Thank you, Jojo. Thank you, Courtney. The details are on the page, but let me just run through them quickly. The dinners that we have, the family dinners, they are the second Wednesday of the month at 4 p.m. Pacific. If you can't make it, maybe it doesn't make sense to be in the mafia, like, and you're like trying to have conversations, like that's when the dinners are. We've decided as a family, that's when they are. Everything is recorded, but obviously the goal, given that we're really focused on conversation, is to be there live. Any discussions that are going to be had outside of the dinners, they happen in the private Facebook group. Yes, it is a private Facebook group. It's just where everyone's at. Like, if you hate Facebook, then I'm sorry. But you can ask whatever in the Facebook. Folks are always happy to answer. Folks are always happy to support people and share things. And I encourage people to share their wins in there as well. It's not just asking questions. It's like, what are you up to? What are you doing? Give me your wins. All the previous dinners can be accessed via the dashboard, which is where all the resources are housed. They built this many years ago, and I'm really fucking proud of it. If you have a question about online business, I guarantee we have a dinner that answers it. And if we don't, which I'm like, we do. But if we don't, I'll that can be the topic of one of the dinners, or we will answer it as well in the mafia. Erica Webb is our official moderator, and she answers the shit out of the questions. But everyone else chimes in as well when they, it's within their domain of expertise. There's also a selection of dinners that I have put together and organized, and I call it the Maestro Mafia, the Mafia Core Curriculum. Maestro Core Curriculum. Wow. Mafia Core Curriculum course. And this offers structure and guidance in a more of like a start here approach for anyone that's overwhelmed by, there's over 100 dinners and you're like, where do I start? So I put them then, or a handful of them in order that cover the biggest topics as it relates to online business. We also have the brick and mortar meetup that meets once a month. That is run by Sabrina. So if you have a brick and mortar business, there you go. And it's usually the third Thursday of the month at 10:30 Pacific, 10:30 a.m. Pacific. The price, $97 a month. Cancel at any time. No, there is no annual option or like a discounted price for paying for the full year. But once you've been in for 6 months, you will get 50% off of all of my other offers, anything that I come up with, excluding Lecture Mine and Press Publish. Most of the people use this to get 50% off of my one-on-one calls. So I personally am clearly really excited about this for 3 reasons. 1, because y'all know that I love me a niche down. 2, because I get to create new content. I love creating content when it's about stuff that I enjoy. But I get to create new content to facilitate this. And 3, because I know that people are ready for it. I can feel it energetically. Right? We are 6 years out from the pandy. Folks have been doing this stuff. They're not new to it. Yes, there are new folks that are just starting out, but this is not for them. There's plenty of folks that have been in it and they're just like needing a space like this. And I'm excited to be like, hey, this is a space and I can put words to it. And it's been the space for many years, but I couldn't really articulate it. And now you can see it. Additionally, at the end of the year in December, we do our word for the year in the Mafia. And I'm listening to what folks' word for the year is. And I'm also seeing online some people that do share their word. And you folks putting things out there like connection, community, nourish, compound, carve, curate. A lot of C's there. And words like that take intention, right? They take effort, concerted effort, and they are bigger than tactical strategy. Tactical strategy supports it. It's helpful. But like a lot of these words are speaking to people how they want their lives to feel and their businesses to feel and things to feel. And I'm excited to steer the Mafia in a direction that supports that intentional action and helps people live into the goals or the words that they set. All right. So to that end, the 12 months, the next 12 months, the year, it is laid out in terms of what each month's topic is, though I always give myself permission to change things if or as needed. But what I have as it stands right now, month 1 is actionable focus. Month 2, messaging and copy. Month 3, visibility systems like social media, things like that, where you're showing up. Month 4, offer architecture. Month 5, pricing as information. Month 6, money flow and capacity. Month 7, guest month. Month 8, launching with intention, because that'll be August and like we're heading into launch season again. Month 9, systems that support you. Month 10, guest month again. Month 11, selling without selling your soul. And month 12, because that's like usually during November is like Black Friday, things like that. And then month 12, orientation and intentional direction, because we'll be moving into the new year. So I may move some of those around, but those are like the main topics and things that I want to be hitting. And I obviously pairing it with the seasonality and giving myself permission to have guests tend to come in organically. And it's kind of like, oh, did I meet someone, hear about someone, get recommended someone that I'm like, yeah, I want to put them in front of my people, because I do pay them as well. Then I'll bring the guest in. So I have two guest months in there. We will see where they end up, or if I take them out. But I give myself permission to have some wiggle room with this. But the first dinner, if you're listening to this on the day that it drops, if you're listening on Monday the 12th, our first dinner, I'm looking at the calendar over there, is I have a bad glare on this calendar. It's unfortunate. Is the 15th. Nope, that's not right. It's the 4th. I really can't see this calendar. It's the 14th, and obviously I can just do the math in my head. It's the 14th, and that will be actionable focus. And basically what I'm looking to do with that is just teaching about what needs to happen so that people can actually live into their words, right? It's nice to come up with a word that you want for the year, but then like, what are you doing? What are you changing? And so, the Capricorn in me can also put some accountability in there and have people identify these things, and then we can hold them to that. But I'm not releasing the question yet. Although I probably should release it, because you're just going to be showing up. But I'm releasing it later, as I'm recording this a week early, obviously. So I would release it to the folks in the Mafia. I basically want to give them, I don't want to put it out like super long before and have people feel like obligated to be thinking about this a ton, but I do want them to put it out long enough that they have time to think about the things. So the topic is going to be actionable focus, getting people to, figure out what needs to be done in order to achieve, I don't want to say goals. We don't have a lot of goal setting there, but to really live into that word. So, I'm thinking, I'm like, what should I share? Obviously, if you decide to join the Mafia, the conversation is never required. You can just be a fly on the wall as well. Everyone's an adult, but thinking about the question, coming with that in mind, like what was your word for the year? What was your intention for the year? And I'm still, the reason I haven't shared the questions, I'm still working on which one I want to pick. But some food for thought that I'm just going to throw out here. It may end up being the question, it may not be, but one is, what are you currently doing that does not meaningfully contribute to the goal? Another one, where are you confusing activity with progress or progress? Maybe that's how they say it in Canada. Process and progress. I don't know. And another one, if you could only make progress in one area this year, which would it be? All right, so I'm still deciding if I want to kind of tweak, and I'm going to just pick one. But those are 3 that you can mull over. And I guarantee if you have thought about that and you bring that to the dinner, bring your musings to the dinner, you'll be able to, because I'm going to pick from around there. You'll be able to chime right in and be right with everybody else who knows the set question that I've gone with. Okay. But like I just went through, those are the 12 months. I'm excited. I'm giving myself permission to have some flexibility. But what I just showed you is how I'm going to structure it, where the beginning part and the very short part will be me teaching. And then I'm going to open it up for conversation. How long will dinners go? I don't know. I don't want to put a cap on it and be like, it's going to be an hour. But the best thing with dinner is that if you have to leave, then you can leave. Usually dinners have gone about 2 hours. That's just been historically just, people talking and asking the questions and teaching and things like that. So usually anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours. But if you're listening to this on the day that it drops, come to dinner, join the Mafia. Try it out for a month, and if you don't like it, cancel. Right? No hard feelings. All the info, it's in the show notes. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Jojo. And if you have any questions, just hit me up. You can DM me. You can shoot me a text, 310-737-2345. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you for listening. If the Mafia ain't your bag, it ain't for you, all good. And you're still listening to this, thank you. I have other offers that are coming. I'm working on another one. And by working on, it's kind of like going through my head. 2 other ones, actually. One, obviously, AI related. But I'm working on stuff in my head. But mostly, I hope that this episode inspired you to lean into what you and your people and your business needs. All right. That is all that I got for you for today. As always, my friends, endlessly, one more time, endlessly appreciative for every single one of you. Until next time, friends, Maestro out.